We're gonna do a little different today, different intro, getting to the point. Leave it in the comments if you think this Ballon d'Or was a robbery. Who do you think should get it? Vinny Carvajal, or do you think Rodri deserved it? Or it should have been the Bull?
Do you think it was Greg Anthony as a Madrid fan?
I wouldn't say Vinny deserved it. Let's keep it real. Because sure, he did stuff for club, but he did nothing for country. Absolutely nothing. In terms of looking at like Carvajal, he deserved it like 100%.
Yeah.
I think we went over our previous video about the Ballon d'Or. Carvajal deserved it because he did everything for club and for country, not
Well,
one or the other.
people don't watch our videos, but we said this long time ago that Pedro was probably gonna win it. We also said that Carvajal deserved it more. And I'm gonna go already this route. I'm not gonna say Benny didn't deserve it, right? But when there's an international tournament, that plays a big role in receiving that Ballon d'Or. Did Benny had a great year? Yes. Did he was like the only contender? Should not be surprised that he didn't win it. No, there was so many contenders. I mean, I could even argue that Bellingham had the same amount as him as contributions for Madrid and important games. And if I remember correctly, Benny shined a lot last year, sure in Champions League in the final, but Bellingham did fall out for those balls and passes. But if I remember correctly, his biggest highlights were against Barca, and Barca was not even like the best club at the moment. So I really don't understand. And his numbers also didn't smack you in the face like Messi and Ronaldo's when they caused controversy. Salah had better years than Benny, except them not winning Champions League. Salah never won it, and he was never a contender.
I've seen people argue that Carvajal doesn't deserve it, this and that. Oh, it's just stats or whatever, but he's the most consistent player throughout the whole season in whatever tournament it is. He's won major trophies too. He's won trophies for his club. Not to mention, he was most of the highlights against Dortmund in the Champions League final.
Playing by himself. Come on, guy.
So people can't say like, oh, it's just stats, but the other guys are better and more deserving.
I mean, if Rodri won it, I don't see why Carvajal didn't win it. Carvajal had Champions League, which is more than Rodri. And also Modric won it when he didn't even win a World Cup or nothing major with his national team. He won titles with Madrid. Not saying he didn't deserve it, but there was also controversy there. So I don't know why people are acting surprised today that Rodri won it. Again, I'm with you. I think if they gave it to Rodri, then it should have been the Bull or Carvajal. I mean, the Bull had a Copa America, top scorer Italian league, top scorer for Argentina, scoring the final of Copa America. Benny disappeared. Italian league is known to be also pretty tough defensively.
It's so confusing. What are they looking at to know who deserves it or not these days? Because if you're looking at trophies, it's Carvajal. And if you're looking at major trophies, it's the bull, Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, you're looking at trophies and stats. It's the Bull. And I'm just gonna say this, and this happens to a lot of clubs when they're in the spotlight and like the top teams. Didn't they just got called up for fair play or something not too long ago? And also how they wrote that he was in the media for so long that after the Euro, I haven't heard of him, but he was somehow still in the top five for Ballon d'Or race. And I think the opposite also happened. There was so much media saying Benny was gonna win it. It not only just hype him up, they hype all the Madrid fans up. And then this happened. Now they think it's even more rigged because of the media.
No credit taken away from Rodri because he's an amazing player. He is a lot for his club and his country, playing an important role. But I don't know, I just feel like there are one, maybe two other players that deserve it a bit more.
I agree. And I think that was Carvajal and the Bull. And I'm not joking about the Bull guy.
And I feel like defenders and goalies don't get enough love. It's mostly like the midfielders and the strikers, the wingers that get more attention, a higher chance of winning awards like these, and the defenders and the goalies just take a back seat.
If Benny would have scored so much more goals, like even if he would have scored 40 goals, I would be like, oh yeah, he deserves it. He didn't even score 30 goals. Like, come on. 23 goals, 25, whatever, doesn't give you the rights to Ballon d'Or. The trophies do because he has trophies, but then he flopped with Brazil, no goals, didn't go through. I haven't seen him shine until against Dortmund. Before that, I didn't hear nothing from him.
And also this weekend, the big match, El Clasico.
Maybe he would have scored there. They could have given it to him because then he would have had more to say.
But I want to add more to this since you brought up him and how he hasn't been performing enough to deserve it compared to the other guys. I heard that he thought that he was gonna win and he was having everything prepared already. He was confident he was gonna win, but what gives you that right when you don't perform for your country?
And again, if you don't perform for your country over like a 1 month period, completely fine-ish if you have above average numbers, but you don't. Like Messi and Ronaldo had bragging rights because their numbers were just so up there. And even when they won it was rigged. So I don't really get it.
And then so he got butt hurt. He was like, I'm not going to this award ceremony. And then Florentino Perez got mad too because he thinks Vinny deserved it, though he's not going to the awards. Carlo got mad because he thought Vinny deserved it, so he's not going to it. And then basically Madrid's team decided not to go. But what they do have a point in is for Carvajal.
Yeah, if they would have said we're here because Carvajal deserves it, I would have stand more on that than why Beanie didn't win it. Again, if you flop an international tournament when it's happening in the summer and you have average numbers, you don't have the right to Ballon d'Or. And we already discussed this, people. Joselu was more important in Champions League semifinals and quarterfinals. Does he deserve it? No, but he was more important than Beanie. If he were to be first and Carvajal, I wouldn't want it. Or the Bull. I think Bellingham had almost the same season as Beanie or better, including his passes and his finishes. Because he had almost the same amount of goals and assists contributions to the club and did more for England than Beanie did to Brazil. And according to Mbappe, I'm just going Mbappe, people. Yours is harder.
I really don't know how they're looking at things anymore. If you're going off purely stats and trophies, it's the Bull.
If you want to give it out of big trophies, an important player, Carvajal. Like it's literally that simple. He's also injured. He could also got in crutches just like Rodri.
Exactly. He could have picked it up in crutches. If that was the problem, why did Rodri win it?
I don't know why Madrid and Benita he was entitled to Ballon d'Or and why they wouldn't show up because then that adds more to him acting like a crybaby. And again, I'm not saying anything about him as a footballer. I'm talking about his character and how he reacts to the media or to his own self-esteem.
And it recently came out that in El Clasico, Gavi and Vinny got into like a verbal argument, and supposedly Gavi said something like 4-0, and Vinny comes at him like, "Oh, I'm gonna win the Ballon d'Or."
Again, I don't know if
Man,
that's true, but I did see that.
that looked so bad when you end up not winning the Ballon d'Or.
When Modric won it and Messi had a bunch of stats, he didn't win it, but I still think Modric deserved it because what he did for Madrid and what he accomplished with country. People said Iniesta deserved it in 2010, but Messi's numbers were so high, breaking record and how many goals he scored in history. Like that gives you some type of right to Ballon d'Or.
So basically, what do you think? Was it a robbery?
See, again, I don't know if it's a robbery because I think a lot of them deserved it, but it does give it more like a robbery type because I think Carvajal deserved it. And here, Barca any day. I'm saying Carvajal should have won it. And he scored in the Champions League final. And he was key player of Spain. I mean, we saw what happened to Madrid without Carvajal. Lucas Vasquez was picky watching the ball bounce over him. Robbery? No robbery, Anthony.
Robbery, 200% robbery. I did mention that I had Rodri as a contender because he's really good and big for club and country, but Carvajal.
Yeah, Carvajal deserves it, if not the bull, but I think Rodri should have been number 3 or 4. Benny could also been 3 or 4. Mbappe should be 20. I don't know how Mbappe is that high up there. He didn't have a good year at all. Didn't win nothing. French league, okay, cool. Scoring a lot of penalties. Doesn't know the outside stuff. We'll get into that later.
So we'll leave it here.
Drogba.